If you are a business owner or a brand who wants to launch their own NFT project, then this is the video for you. In this video, we'll be talking about the 5 steps you need to take to launch your own NFT project and to put your brand into the Web3 space. With projects like Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Mutant Apes, Azuki, Tokyo NFT, and so many more, the NFT space has been growing like crazy, bringing opportunities to brands and connecting your audience and building a community. And so let's talk about exactly what you can do to bring your community even closer to your brand and take your business to the next level. Before we get into it, I just want to say hi, my name is Naz, and here I build epic NFT projects and teach you how to become a Web3 builder. So the first question is, why would you even want to launch an NFT? And honestly, there's really not a good answer right now. Some people launch it because they want to represent an amazing community like Azuki that represents the manga or anime community. Some people want to launch a project that represents an amazing utility and takes their brand into the utility space. For example, one of the projects we recently launched was called All In Trading Group, and there they brought an NFT that will be used later on as an access port into their own crypto courses. We also another brand, for example, like Rent, that launched their own NFT as a way to bring their community into the Web3 space by honestly giving a free NFT to anybody who buys a physical hoodie. Adidas Originals, for example, launched their NFT, made $24 million on that launch, and brought their community into the NFT space. Adidas Originals, for example, launched their project called Adidas Originals into the metaverse, where their NFT represented a physical object, a physical actual object later on in the future. Some companies are launching NFTs for gaming, and that's become very popular. Other companies are launching NFTs for the metaverse. That's also become very popular. Overall, this is a very open space with a lot of creativity, and we even have no idea how to get into it, and we have no idea what the possibilities we have in the future. So now let's talk about the 5 steps you need to take to launch the actual NFT. The first step you need to understand is you need to understand your idea. Understand what value are you going to bring to your audience. Are you going to provide a utility where you give them something physical or something digital later on? Or is it just simply going to be, could be called a PFP, which is basically just a project that represents almost like a profile picture. And all of that is simply just based on amazing art that people will be interested in. It can also be a way where maybe you launch a project for your gaming, for a game, or maybe you want to launch a project for a course. As long as you understand what value are you bringing to your audience, that's going to drive your full project home. The second thing you need to do now is figuring out what are the concepts of your NFT project. So for example, what we recommend is you create a mood board. Look at other NFT projects. What are you thinking about? What is your inspiration that you have? Is the Bored Ape your inspiration? Is the CryptoPunks your inspiration? Create a mood board, put everything on that mood board together, and start seeing what are you thinking about. How do you see this NFT being valued, and how do you even see this NFT looking and having a good look? And how do you see this NFT potentially even being drawn? Now, once you figure out your mood board, time to find an artist. Now, finding an artist at this point is, there's plenty of them, right? You can find them on Twitter, you can find them on Instagram. If you simply search up NFT artists, you will find them there. And you can also find them on Fiverr, on Upwork. Another amazing place to find NFT artists is on Dribbble. You can actually go to other NFT projects and find artists who did their art for them as well. Once you find your artist, it's really important to really break down how your NFT art is going to look like. What type of attributes do you want your NFT art to have? And what I mean by that is, for example, take these CryptoPunks. As you can see, this CryptoPunk, has different types of hats, has different types of colors, everything. So you need to write down all the different colors. You need to write down all the different, hats that person might have. You need to write down the different, maybe, there's a suit, maybe there's a tie, who knows? All the different things you want to be presented in your NFT art. Now, if it's just one NFT, however, that's maybe a little bit different. Maybe it's just one NFT, and that's completely fine too. Now, the third thing you need to do is the technical side. At this point, you need to find a developer team unless you're a developer yourself. Now, the technicalities here are really important, right? You need to understand the fact that every NFT project has something called a smart contract. A smart contract is where all of your code for your NFT runs. So if your smart contract is not right, correctly tested, your NFT project can go to in 1 second. So it's extremely important to not take this for granted. The things you'll need from your developer team. The first thing to do is you'll need to figure out the website you want to build. Now, websites in the Web3 space are a little bit different here. Some, yes, some are very simple and so forth. Others, I like to call them experience websites. And that's something that actually we like to build as well. So experience websites are more so what it's like where you go on the website and it's an amazing experience for you to use it, for you to scroll through, for you to actually engage with what you see in front of you. If you look at, for example, Azuki, you'll see that as you scroll, you have all these animations that come up. You will see the fact that there's music playing in the background. So many options out there you can use. That's the first part that your development team has to create. The second part your development team has to create is going to be creating the smart contract. Now, the smart contract is very important, as I've said before, and you want to make sure that your developer team tests it, make sure there are no errors, and test it through gas fees, because gas fees, if your project also creates a lot of gas fees in the end, they'll also create disconnect with your community. And finally, the last thing your developer team would have to do is upload your NFT art to something called IPFS, which is where all the art is going to store it. Now, the question might be is, where do you find developer team? Now, yes, we ourselves are a developer team as well. So I have a developer team that we work with and we launch NFT projects. We launched many NFT projects at this point. And so if you would love to, if you're interested in working with us potentially, there's a link down below to go ahead and apply. But if you don't work with us, that's completely fine as well. In that case, what you would do is there's a bunch of places you can go, like Upwork, freelancer.com, and find a lot of smart contract developers over there. You can either have a separate developer for just your website or a separate developer for just your smart contract, or you can put them together. So for example, we build everything. So we launch NFT projects from A to Z. So we build the website, we build a smart contract, we do everything that needs to be done to actually launch an NFT project. That's probably one of the hardest parts for sure. Now, time for the marketing. Honestly, everything here is important. The amount of steps you need to take and the important steps that are needed for this, right? So for the marketing plan, a few things go by. Yes, the marketing, there's a few things you can do. You can hire a marketing company that will do this for you. And the budgets for those can range between $40,000 all the way to $100,000. Not kidding, yes. Right there, what they will use is they will go ahead and connect you with influencers, they connect you with other NFT projects. You know, maybe you will do some ads, but you need to have a marketing plan, because if you got no marketing plan and you think your NFT is just going to blow up because it's hot, that's not the case. The second thing you would want to figure out is if you're going to do this by yourself, well, at this point, you have to learn to reach out to other NFT projects and ask for collaborations. A lot of NFT projects, what they do is they'll collaborate at something called a whitelist. So a whitelist is like, hey, I will give your community whitelist spots so they can have my NFT for a cheaper price, versus you go ahead and reference me on your NFT community that's been launched previously. So that's one of the ways. And these are just some collaborations that you can take. Of course, at that point, there's a lot of NFT projects, for example, on Twitter or NFT people on Twitter who will actually shout out your NFT project as well for a cost. So you can reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking for collaboration. I'm launching an NFT project. How much would it cost for me for you to post about my NFT project? Just be careful here, because there are a lot of spam Twitter accounts. And so you just have to be very careful there. From my understanding, I think the best way to do this is one, do hire a marketing company and actually honestly go from there. And then start making amazing connections with other NFT projects. And that's where you can really see a lot of success. So if you contact, for example, like Azuki, or you contact some other people who had successful NFT projects, they might just bring you on into their Discord, into their AMA, for you to talk about exactly what it is that you're trying to launch. And honestly, the marketing plan is extremely important. You want to have it ready right from the get-go. You want to have this ready, and this is most of the time is going to be spent on this as well. So that's the marketing plan. The fifth thing you need to do, and that's going to be the community. At this point, you will need to set up the Discord, the Twitter. You need to figure out how to keep your community engaged. A lot of ways people keep the community engaged is through, for example, like fan art, right? So fan art is when your fans or your people who love your NFT, who really care about your NFT, they will actually create art of themselves, and in return, you will give them whitelist spot. Another way to keep them engaged as well is to do Twitter Spaces. So Twitter Spaces are, for example, is where you go ahead and you talk about the project. You know, you bring on people who are interested in the project and you talk about it. You have people ask questions about your project, and that's another way to keep your community engaged. If you do not keep your community engaged, your project will fall off at some point. And honestly, if you do all those 5 steps, if you figure out your strategy, your marketing strategy, if you have an amazing developer team, if you know exactly what the value it is you're providing, and also if you have an amazing NFT artist, you can really have an amazing, successful NFT launch. It is not easy, but it is doable for sure. It is definitely not easy, but a lot of people seem to do it. Now, maybe you might be asking the question, hey Nas, how much does this thing cost? Well, budgets can range, Sometimes, a budget can be over 60 grand, depends on how much budget you have for marketing, how much for developer teams. Budget for marketing could be like 40 grand to 100 grand. A budget for developer team could be from, again, 40 grand to 70 grand, right? Really, really depends. For NFT artists, same thing. I think NFT artists can charge also from 20 grand to 50 grand. Really depends what it is. But I would say if you're just starting out, if you're a brand who is bigger, then definitely, account yourself for a bigger budget. Maybe that's like 100K or something like that. If you're a brand that's smaller and maybe you're going to find an artist where you will share more of the compensation, like for example, you will share the percentage of the NFT launch, you can have a little bit smaller budgets, maybe like $50,000. But the most important thing is to understand that this is not easy to launch. It's not going to take you $2,000 to launch an NFT project and you think you're all set. That's not the case. It does take time. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of work, collaborations, all of that to make this whole thing work. Because the last thing you want is to launch an NFT project and nobody buy it. So yeah, that's my 5 steps on how to launch an NFT project. If you're a brand and you want to learn more what it takes to launch an NFT project, we have a link down below for you to go ahead and apply, and I will personally get on a call with you to talk about the strategy for your brand and for your company. But other than that, if you are a Web3 builder and you want to learn how to build NFT projects, smart contracts, go and subscribe below, hit like in this video. I'd really appreciate this. And then I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.